And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service on this Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. And if you'd like additional information on top of what I provide in this YouTube video, you can go to weather.gov. It'll bring you to a map of the continental U.S. with Hawaii and Alaska to the lower left, and this will allow you to get a weather forecast for anywhere in the country with any relevant watches, warnings, or advisories. Just as a quick overview, I like to give people a chance to see what may be happening elsewhere in the nation, because a lot of us have origins in other states or friends and family living there. Pretty active day across the continental U.S. Tornado watches, southern Michigan, Indiana, western Ohio. A tornado touchdown causing damage just west and on the south side of Kalamazoo around Portage, Michigan this afternoon and early evening. Back to the west, we have a considerable amount of wind, fire danger, very high into the southern high plains, into parts of much of, say, New Mexico, northeast Arizona, and a scattering of winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings for the central northern Rockies. But here in Alaska, it's river breakup season. We're in the full midst of it now. The Kuskokwim River, we have a flood warning at Tullesac, where few families have had to be evacuated from their residencies, and we've had water come up enough so it prevents the community there now from being able to make water. And a little downstream, we have a flood advisory for Akiak. These areas are experiencing the flood jamming in various points, and it's going to be a slow process before those break up and move through. Flood advisory continues at Glen Allen there in the Copper River Basin, especially along Moose and Trooper Creeks. There's been some minor flooding along and just over the roadways there. And flood watches remain in effect through the end of this week. Upper Yukon River around Circle, the lower Kuskokwim River from Tullesac down to the down there to Kuskokwim Bay, and then the Copper River Basin due to snowmelt there. But overall, we're going to see cooler than normal temperatures with above average precipitation through mid-May across much of the state. I'll show you that near the end of this weather video. But taking a look at this afternoon, Fort Yukon, light snow and fog, 34 degrees. There have been a couple of easterly waves the past couple of days, bringing bouts of snow or rain mixed with snow through the central, eastern, and interior. Some of that now has moved up through the North Slope, Brooks Range area to along the Arctic coast. As we go west here in the Kuskokwim River Basin, Tullesac there under that flood warning due to ice jams. You can see the water level high. These are residencies there with the water levels right up to them. Skies there are mostly cloudy, 32 degrees. Some pretty chilly temperatures along the west coast. I'll show that better coming up here. But looking at the most notable watches and special weather statements we can focus in on. We still have the flood watch for the Copper River Basin due to snowmelt. We have the flood watch for the Upper Yukon River, especially around Circle, for potential for ice jam flooding, and then the flood watch for the lower Kuskokwim River due to the potential for flooding from ice jams. As far as advisories, what I just mentioned, we have an advisory for flooding, Akiak, and a flood warning for ice jams at Tullesac. And then here in Circle, there's a flood watch because there's been an ice jam around and above Circle that's working its way down the Upper Yukon. Still needing to monitor that. The weather today up this way wasn't the best for the reconnaissance flights, so they're going to try again tomorrow. And then here in the Copper River Basin, a lot of snowmelt water coming through the system now, with some minor flooding being reported around Glen Allen. These areas in blue are special weather statements. This is for the precipitation that's working its way through that area today. And then down here for the northeastern Gulf, including Yakutat, all through the Panhandle. Couple of active weather systems with wind and heavier rain coming through Wednesday through Thursday. And I'll show you that on the surface map. But here's a quick check, again, where we have areas of concern. We have the flood advisory for Glen Allen here, flood watch for the Copper River Basin. Flood watch for Eagle for the potential for ice jam flooding, because there is a ice jam area that's working its way down, through the Upper Yukon River and has yet to get all the way through Eagle. That flood watch remains in effect for the possibility of flooding from ice jams. Now down here, the lower Yukon, or lower Kuskokwim River, we have a flood watch because of ice jams and the ice fronts that are working their way downstream. We have a flood warning, the red dot there, Tullesac, and then Akiak there has the flood advisory in effect, and those will remain in effect here until at least through Friday morning, because it takes a while for that ice to work its way out and break loose and get the river flowing again. But looking at the satellite imagery, we have one system out over entering the southwestern Gulf right now, front out ahead of it. There's another low that's going to be coming up on Thursday. Back to the far west, we have this little polar low. This is a cold core feature that's dropping southward. It's going to pass over the Pribilovs tonight. A winter weather advisory is in effect for the Pribilovs, including St. Paul, St. George, for some accumulating snow because of this feature dropping southward. It's eventually going to come up and swing up along the western Gulf Thursday night into Friday. And then there's another system way out to the west that'll impact the Aleutians here as we go, especially into Thursday and Friday. So this afternoon, here's the one low entering the southwest Gulf with this front arcing ahead of it. That's going to bring more precipitation along the Gulf Coast and Panhandle later tonight and during the day Wednesday, along with some gusty gale force winds. We have this trough that lingers here across the central interior, so we have showers popping up along that or some areas of rain and snow. Back further west here in the Bering, there's that little cold core low system that's dropping southeastward and will bring the snow to the Pribilovs tonight into Wednesday morning. For late tonight, here we have that low crossing through the Pribilovs, and we have the one low approaching Prince William Sound. That low is going to push into Prince William Sound on Wednesday. This front will come on shore through the Panhandle and dissipate. Then here comes the next low. This is going to be the stronger low with more in the way of some heavier precipitation. As it quickly comes northward, it's going to end up crossing the Gulf and come ashore near or just east of Cape Suckling, and that'll bring a round of stronger gusty winds with heavier rainfall from areas of the northeastern Gulf in through the Panhandle. The intercoastal mountains here of southeast Alaska, the southern Yukon are going to get blasted with heavy late season snows. Here's that little cold core low that is going to pass through the Pribilovs tonight. That'll eventually weaken and ride up here through the western Gulf, Prince William Sound area Thursday night into Friday. And then here comes the next system crossing the Aleutians on Thursday with some breezy conditions and more rain. So low temperatures tonight, above freezing across most areas. It'll be in the upper 30s to lower 40s in the Panhandle. Near freezing, Glen Allen and over toward Talkeetna, but generally staying above freezing now throughout much of south central. Temperatures in the afternoon, any little bit of sun can boost you a few degrees higher than this, but at least with the rain falling, cloudy conditions, lower ceilings, gusty winds, we have temperatures low mid-50s in the Panhandle, 40s along the immediate coast, maybe 54 there again at Gulkana, 56 at Talkeetna, 50-ish in the Anchorage Bowl. Temperatures come Thursday morning, stay above freezing, mid-upper 30s south central, upper 30s, low 40s across the Panhandle. And then temperatures with that second low that's going to come up here to Cape Suckling on Thursday afternoon, there's going to be a better push of warmer temperatures up along into the southern Panhandle. Could see at least lower 60s there, Klawak, Craig, Metla, Katla. But temperatures staying in the 40s here across south central as a result of the cloud cover from one of the lows. It's the first one that is coming through on Wednesday. Now across the far north, temperatures have moderated a bit, not quite as cold as they were, but still teens for lows here, North Slope, Arctic coast, teens to near 20 along the Seward Peninsula, only 12 there at St. Lawrence Island. And these colder temperatures have allowed for some late season ice formation within the pack ice, which is a little unusual for it being getting close to mid-May. And then temperatures, warmest will be here. Areas of the east central interior could flirt with 60, like Eagle and Fairbanks, if you get any sun, certainly. But notice 20s along the Arctic coast and down here along the Seward, northern and west side of the Seward Peninsula back through St. Lawrence Island. And then temperatures Thursday morning do stay above freezing, the Tanana Valley and the middle Yukon. But otherwise, other areas dipping below freezing with the coldest temperatures again along the west and northwest portion of the mainland. And temperatures Thursday afternoon once again will be upper 50s to near 60, say Fort Yukon, Eagle, and around perhaps areas there within the vicinity of Fairbanks, but otherwise 20s Arctic coast down through Point Hope and then along the western area there through the Bering Strait. Southwest interior temperatures are actually quite cold along the lower Yukon coast, below freezing, some teens here Nunavik Island along the immediate coastline, say like Hooper Bay. And then temperatures only near freezing for lows there at Dutch Harbor. And for Wednesday afternoon, temperature is going to struggle to get much to reach 32 at St. Paul. As you get up the Kuskokwim River all the way up there to McGrath, 54, but lower Kuskokwim around Bethel, only 35. And then for Thursday morning, we find low temperatures a bit colder here, just inland from the southwest coast. We're expecting lows into the mid-20s and high temperatures Thursday afternoon with some lingering cloud cover and just cool readings. I mean, they get above freezing, but not what you'd really want or expect this time of year. It's going to remain cool in this region, not just the rest of this week, but for the next week ahead through at least mid-month. Here is the temperature outlook, May 13th through the 17th, centered on May 15th. Look at this. Below normal temperatures along the Gulf Coast, Panhandle into south central, around Cook Inlet, and then the west side of the state, Kotzebue down through Nome, Bethel. This is just not a very warm spring-like pattern. And if we take it a little further, May 15th through the 21st, so essentially most of this month, it's looking below normal. And the coolest temperatures centered on areas of south central, especially around the Kenai Peninsula, Prince William Sound, and Cook Inlet. So no real big warm ridges or dry weather to report. And what's going to happen with this pattern, precipitation averages above normal, so through mid-month, the 13th, 17th, above normal precipitation, the Panhandle, and coming up through the Copper River Basin over the Alaska Range of the Fairbanks. What happens is we're having these lows. They come in, they spread the moisture further north. It crosses into the central eastern interior. So this pattern we've been in will continue into the next week. And then as we go into May 15th through the 21st, we anticipate the potential for precipitation to average a bit above normal across the entire state, with the best likelihood along Fairbanks, Alaska Range south and westward through Anchorage all the way down toward Dillingham. So really don't expect much in the way of a change in this weather pattern here for the next couple of weeks at least.